soon as that TV turns on. Oh, I forgot to bring my glasses. That's okay. Good evening and welcome to a special meeting of the San Benito County Planning Commission. It is 6:01 and I am calling this meeting to order. If you could please read the temporary procedures.
The San Benito County Planning Commission welcomes your comments. Each individual speaker will be limited to a presentation total of 3 minutes. When addressing the commission via Zoom, phone, or in the chambers, please state your name and county in which you reside for the record. Please address the commission as a whole through the chair. If participating on Zoom, select the Participants tab and click the Raise Hand icon. If you are using a phone, please press *9 to raise your hand. When your turn arrives, you will hear that you have been unmuted. If participating in person in the chamber, please complete a speaker card identifying the item on which you wish to speak and provide your completed card to the clerk prior to consideration of the item. Speaker cards are available on the table at the entrance.
Thank you. If we could have the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Way, if you could please lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If we could get roll call, please.
Robert Gibson,
Present.
Robert Scagliotti,
Present.
Richard Way,
Present.
Rodney Bianchi, not present.
Thank you. And I'm going to add an item on here for general public comment. So if there are any items that are not on this agenda that the public would like to comment, please come forward now. This is for general public comment.
Hi, my name is Gary Moran. I live in San Benito County. And I'd like to say a few comments tonight regarding traffic for the landfill. I'm very acutely aware of the traffic on Fairview Road, as I have a place out there. For 10 or 12 years, I've watched the trucks come and go all the time. And when they stopped, I felt really good about it. But then I heard, well, they're going to expand the landfill maybe, and they're going to increase the number of trucks. So first thing I did was I looked at the draft EIR, and I read table 4.2.-2, and I got a little bit nervous about that. Oh my God. It says weekday trucks 95, Saturday trucks 34. And I realize it'll take a while to get to the maximum, but there are financial incentives that are going to drive it up as surely as in a few years. It'll drive it up as close as they can to maximum. Now, if 95 trucks go to the dump, they go by my house twice. And they go up there and unload and they come back again. So that's 190 truck passes by my place every day. They go through stoplights, they go by Rancho or School, they go by Sunny Slope Village, all those. They're going to fight their way through all those stoplights. And that means there's 509 trucks a week, or 1,018 times the trucks would pass one of the residences like mine. It's kind of like I don't believe that people really penciled this out or thought about it when we got involved with such a large project. There'll be a truck about every 2.5 minutes if you put it on an 8-hour day and spread the trucks out evenly. And that means if you stand at my place, which is on kind of a long straightaway, you should be able to see a truck all the time. Either they're down there or in the middle or somewhere, you'll be able to see a truck because they'll be spaced a couple of miles apart. And I kind of want to say, would the commissioners or the supervisors or anybody vote for a project like this if you had to live next to this highway where you have 1,000 trucks a week going by? By the webpage at John Smith Landfill, if you take the amount of money they're predicting, it's only going to be a couple of % of our budget. And I can't believe that for a couple of % of our budget, we're going to subject ourselves to 1,000 truck passages through town or down Fairview Road or down Highway 25 by Target or whatever. So please, when it comes time, let's reconsider this. And I understand we need a landfill. We need to maybe expand it a little bit. But please, let's reevaluate and maybe make it smaller and something that won't be so impactful. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other general public comment in the chambers?
Hi, my name is Bridget Bowman-Thorpe. I'm also the co-chair for Don't Dump on San Benito. And I can just add to what Gary said. I live on Santana Ranch. I moved to Santana Ranch 6 years ago. Even I just walked my dog and I had to walk 5 minutes just on Fairview. That was when they were still bringing in 1,000 tons a day. Every time, no matter what time I would be on Fairview, there would always be a garbage truck, those big 20-ton semi-trucks. And it was even only, at that time, it was only 1,000 tons per day. So now with the expansion, it will be 2,300 tons. If you have this ridiculous haul route, if you just look at it, you want to go 25 Wright Road, you want to make a left on Wright Road, McCloskey, I mean, just danger screaming, you know. It's such a dangerous turn. And then you want to go make a right on McCloskey to Fairview. And it's the same thing what Gary just said. These roads are beaten up, potholes, and then you want to put semi-tracks on it, 95 of them. And by the way, if you had looked, I would encourage you to look at the Appendix C of the EIR and page 153. It states, you know, the landfill was initially in 1969, you had 6,900 tons a year. It was 69. In 2020, you had 303,000 tons. If this would be approved, then in Appendix C it says there's a ramp-up period of 15 years where they get, Waste Connection will get their bids so they can import more garbage. And once this ramp-up period resolved in 2036, then you have 766,000 tons every year for 34 years. So please look up the Appendix C, page 153. It's for 50 years. It will change your county, your city forever. If you think people won't notice these garbage trucks coming through your town, you're wrong. You will be the garbage town. You will be the town with the garbage mountain. You just will be. And just hope it doesn't smell like in Milpitas. This is a ridiculous idea. It's horrible. And by the way, I got this nice little flyer from Rivas, and it says, SOS, who's answering the call? Guess what? The state has money. This is a greenhouse gas emitter. It's an air polluter. Ask the state for money.
Thank you. Is there any other general public comment in the chambers? Is there any public comment via Zoom?
There is no public comment via Zoom.
Thank you. General public comment is closed. On to item 4, certificate of posting. Can I get an acknowledgement of the certificate of posting?
I'll also move.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda, item number 5. Nothing on consent. 6.1, informational presentation on the notice of preparation of an environmental impact report for the Nash Road Quarry Reclamation Plan project.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission. Good evening, members of the public. Good evening. Abraham Prado, Director of Planning and Building Services, County of San Benito, RMA. Thank you. We are here tonight for the public scoping meeting for the Nash Road Quarry. And just a little bit of what we'll be having tonight. We'll have introductions. Then we'll have a project overview by our principal planner, Ariel Goodspeed. And then we'll have a brief explanation on understanding the environmental process by Bob Delp from Benchmark Resources, the consultant that helps the County of San Benito for the quarries. A little bit of housekeeping items. We ask that everybody who is present and through Zoom to be ready for when the public comment period opens to be able to approach and be able to provide comments. Also, everybody who's here to please sign in and be sure to indicate in the sign-in sheet if you would like to be added to the distribution list that we have for the draft EIR. Also, visit our comment station to submit your written comments, which is up in the back, and then you can submit the comments to our clerk, Shelby Duran. And you may also mail or email comments to the address provided at the end. We'll provide an address at the end of the slide presentation, and you can also email it to us as well. We'll have that information at the end. If anybody needs Spanish translation, they can please let us know, and we'll be happy to provide that as well. And with that being said, we'll ask Ariel to come up and provide a brief description. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, commissioners and everyone that came out tonight to get a little bit more information on what this project is and what steps we're beginning for the environmental impact report. And again, my name's Ariel Goodspeed, Principal Planner for the County RMA. So the project site's address is at 1070 Nash Road. The site is west of the city of Hollister and north of Nash Road along the San Benito River. So the project site outlined in red includes the San Benito River channel and upland areas along the west and east sides of the river. The site is about 131 acres in total, comprised of 8 separate parcels. The project site consists of river channel and riparian habitats and upland areas. And the site was formerly mined, and areas of mining disturbance and processing facilities still remain today. So the project would approve an amendment to the 1977 reclamation plan that would establish a new reclamation plan for the site, allowing mining to be reinitiated within approximately 33 acres portion of the river channel and adjacent areas. The depth of mining would be phased with a maximum ultimate depth of 5 feet below the existing thalweg, which is the lowest point of the river channel. Monitoring of the mining depth and to assess potential effects within the upstream and downstream of the mining area would be done each year. Subsequent mining would only be allowed if no adverse effects attributed to mining are observed. Mining would only be done during periods with low or no surface flows in the river. Once the maximum mining depth of 5 feet below the existing thalweg is reached, additional mining would be limited to extracting replenished sand and gravel flowing into the site from upstream. About 42 acres of the upland habitat area in the northern portion of the site on the east and west sides of the river channel would remain as they currently exist. 32 acres in the southwestern portion of the site would not be mined, but would be cleared and graded for reclamation to agricultural uses. Mined sand and gravel would be crushed, washed, and sorted on site in the processing plant area located in the southwestern portion of the site. Material would then be transported to an existing concrete batch plant at 151 Hillcrest Road in Hollister for use and sale. Trucks transporting between the project site and the Hillcrest Road facility would be powered by compressed natural gas. These are the proposed transportation routes that were submitted as part of the application. The haul trucks traveling between the project site and Hillcrest facility. So one goes along West Side Boulevard, across 4th Street and down McRae. The other goes down Nash, then Riverview Parkway to San Benito Street, Union, up 25, and ultimately over to Hillcrest Road. I'm now going to pass this over to Bob.
Thank you, Ariel. I'm Bob Delp with Benchmark Resources. Good evening, Chair and members of the Commission and members of the public that are here. Benchmark Resources is a consulting firm based in Folsom, California. We do work for the county on other mine sites. My focus has been off and on for the last 10 years, actually, involved in the Nash Road Quarry site and moving forward with various reclamation plan options that they've looked at. But I want to take a few minutes tonight to talk about the environmental review process. The California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, requires public agencies to evaluate the impacts of proposed projects. San Benito County Resource Management Agency is the lead agency under CEQA for the environmental review for this project, and the county's determined that it will prepare an environmental impact report, which is essentially the most detailed level of environmental review that gets conducted under CEQA. The purpose of the EIR is to provide information to decision makers and to inform the public about the environmental impacts of a project. The EIR analysis would also look at and identify ways to mitigate or avoid the environmental effects. And an EIR also looks at alternatives to the proposed project. That's a requirement of CEQA for the EIR. And the first formal step in that process, we're in that right now, the scoping process, where the county issues a notice of preparation to inform agencies and the public of the intent to prepare an environmental impact report, provide information about the project, and importantly, to solicit agency and public comments on the scope or the issues of concern that the public would like addressed in the environmental impact report. So this slide, it will keep, excuse me, okay. This slide will sort of walk through the EIR process. As I said, we're in the notice of preparation and scoping process now. Once we're done with that and we have public input, we'll prepare an administrative draft of the EIR for internal county staff review. Ultimately, we'll prepare a draft EIR, which is the document that goes out for public and agency review and comment. That is another review opportunity, 45-day review for the public to comment and provide input to the county on that draft environmental impact report. And then once we've received comments, we will prepare responses to those comments. That becomes part of the final environmental impact report that gets prepared. And then ultimately, that final EIR goes to the county decision makers. It will come back to the Planning Commission and may ultimately go to the Board of Supervisors. And then those decision-making bodies will certify the EIR, adopt the mitigation measures through a mitigation monitoring and reporting program, adopt findings that are required under CEQA, and only after that point can they make a decision of whether or not to approve the project. The contents of an EIR, generally there'll be a detailed description of the project. There'll be a discussion of the existing conditions or the environmental setting. There'll be an outline and discussion analysis of significant environmental effects. And we'll also identify which of those significant adverse effects can't be mitigated to less than significant levels if there are any that then remain as unavoidable significant adverse effects. We'll also look at growth-inducing impacts, cumulative effects, which would be this project combined with other projects in the area, how those impacts might combine to be significant, where the impacts of one project maybe wouldn't on their own be significant. We'll, as I mentioned, identify mitigation measures for the environmental effects, and we'll also we'll identify alternatives and do a comparison analysis of the impacts of the alternatives to the proposed project. So to help us identify the focus of the EIR and the issues, we are asking for public comments on the NOP. We'll also be coordinating and asking for input from other regulatory agencies that will have some element of review and approval associated with the project. And as we mentioned, this scoping meeting is a part of that soliciting input. This slide lists the environmental resource topics that are identified in CEQA to be evaluated in the EIR or otherwise reviewed preliminarily and excluded. We anticipate, regardless of what public comments we get and agency comments, essentially all of these topics will be evaluated at some level in the EIR, and the impacts of the project associated with these various resource topics will be presented in the EIR. So, as we mentioned, this current scoping process is an opportunity for public input, but there will be other opportunities. The draft EIR, again, that review period will be 45 days. We don't have a detailed schedule outlined right now, but I think it's reasonable to expect that we're a few months, maybe 4 to 6 months away from that draft EIR being available for review. And then again, there's another opportunity for public input and comments during the project decision-making hearings. So we are, I'll turn this back over to Ariel, but we are welcoming public comments tonight, and I'll be taking copious notes on the comments that we get, so we can make sure to address those in the EIR. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then for anyone that is here in the chambers and not online, this contact information is at the back, so you can take it with you and submit at a later date if you're not wanting to necessarily present your public comment at this time.
Thank you. Is there any public comment in the chambers? Okay, please come to the podium. Thank you.
My name is Delita Jones. I live in San Benito County, across from where they want to put the quarry. I have lots of problems with that. One, home values going to drop. Two, if this is legitimate, public needs to know about it. I got this paper 3 days ago. We have till April 24th. None of my neighbors know about it. I drove down the road, started talking to people, nobody knows about it. So, so that's a huge concern. Kids walking to school, it's dangerous. Noise pollution, water quality, air quality. Once this goes in, who's going to clean it up when they're done? We have history in San Benito County of mining being left and making a mess, and San Benito residents picking up the bill. And I do believe, if I recall right, from the last time they mined, San Benito was left with a pretty big bill from the mining. I bought the property that the quarry used to be in. When they left, they put lots of debris in the ground. They covered it with dirt. Our water is contaminated there. We're above legal limits for nitrates. We live right next to the river. So when they go in there and start turning everything up, it's going to only get worse. People don't know about it. So that's a big problem. I'm not sure what you guys need to do, but somehow the public has to know, because they're all going to be affected by it, by the trucks running around, the air quality, water quality, noise pollution. The map that they put out was 2012. This area has grown a lot since 2012. That's not even an accurate map. So it doesn't show any of the new developments. So if we're going to do this, let's do it legitimately and not try to push it through the back door. That's my comments.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment in the chambers?
I've never done this before, so does that state my name or what do I do?
Yes.
Oh, Jason Delora. I live at 330 Union Heights. So right now, the cement company rolls through there, the trucks roll through there. I have a really nice place. And I don't know if you've been down Riverside, but it's right on the corner. It's a big 2-story house. You can't miss it with a big stucco fence around it. Spent millions of dollars on that house. The trucks roll through there, and it shakes the whole entire house. The road looks like somebody put hand grenades on it. It's just totally obliterated. I will never approve this project, whatever I have to do legally, if the road's not finished from Union Road to the bridge, and they put a sweeping crew in to clean it up. I have a business myself. I'm not trying to hurt business. I'm all about business. But they got to do it right, and the county has to fix the road. And I want to know what the truck route is. If the truck route's going to go by my house, I'm not really for it. I don't know how they're going to get the sand in and out of there or whatever they want to do. But the noise is insane. When it shakes your house and you're upstairs and they come by, and what are the hours of operation going to be? It's a big concern. So I really don't want it to happen, but if it does, there's some things that have to be fixed before somebody does it. In the business I have, I go to 2 different quarries. One, they have a speed limit. The speed limit's 25. They have radar set up. Any of the truck drivers go through there faster than 25, it sends them a ticket automatically. They're banned from the quarry for up to 2 weeks. Sorry, boss, can't go up there. Why? I was speeding, can't go pick up sand for you. They lose revenue. There has to be discipline for the drivers that are out there for safety. You know, that, and they street sweep the roads. And the places, other one I go to is in Cupertino. There's $4 million homes up there, minimum, up in the quarry. And that's owned by a great family. They have their own street sweeping crew. They put all the cameras in. All the trucks are weighed correctly. They follow DOT. Everything's done above par. If they're not going to do that, then I would have made a big problem with it. Just from noise, safety, the road, if you guys ever drive down that road, it's got to be the worst road in San Benito County after the flood, before the flood, whenever. When I bought the house, there was no quarry there. There was nothing. There was no bridge. It was quiet as could be. I understand things got to change. People built the bridge. It's great. But now it's a freeway through there because everybody's kind of trying to take their kids to school. Everybody rolls through that road like a racetrack. It's a speed zone. I've even had the county park a patrol car in front of my house and write tickets because I know a lot of them. So they just go over there and they write tickets. It slows them down for a little bit, but then they're right back again. So something's got to be done with the road, the speed limit, and it's just not fair to all the people that live there. Okay?
Thank you. Is there any additional public comment in the chambers?
Hello, good afternoon. Just a suggestion. First off, I would just like to address that, I don't think it's the intention for the Planning Commission or the Board of Supervisors to do anything necessarily backdoor, but I do think there's a lack of awareness within not just San Benito County, but I would even say the state of the planning process. So perhaps just a suggestion would be reaching out to the school boards, schools, to I guess notify of this project, because just like I said, to reiterate, like that there really is a lack of just, I think, awareness of how the planning process works. And like I said, not that anything nefarious is going on, but we have to come up with better solutions to inform, I think, the citizens of San Benito County. So yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Richard Betancourt, 4140 Southside Road. I'm 85 years old, and when I was a kid, 18 years old, I worked down there at Hollister Sand and Gravel. So it's been there a good many years. It's changed hands. When I was planning commissioner, this project came before us too. And that was something like 19 years ago. Things have changed, I agree. And from what I read in the EIR, that they have to use compressed natural gas trucks to go back and forth to the plant. So that kind of solves the air quality issue. But like that gentleman says, if they're going to go down Riverside Road, that road does need a lot of help. Should that be their responsibility? I don't know. That's up to you guys. I'm for it, to be honest with you. So that's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Is there any more public comment in the chambers?
Hi. I just wanted to know how close this is going to be to the regional Riverview Park that's going to be developed, because it sounds like it's going to be really close, and there could be a lot of conflict with that. And also, Union Road is in the worst condition. I can't imagine all those trucks driving down there tearing it up. That road is probably a D if the state were to grade it. I can't imagine more trucks. So I think that really needs to be taken into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment via Zoom?
There is one public comment via Zoom.
Elia Salinas, thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to emphasize that you as commissioners are aware that this is just a formality, just getting started on the EIR. And we don't know what the results are going to be. So the folks that have spoken today, while I appreciate their concerns, I would request that the Planning Commission, when listening to the individuals with their statements, that they come with facts, tangible facts, and not just make a statement and pick something out of the air. I appreciate Mr. Betancourt's comments because he does know the history of that. The bridge has been there for a long time, and I know one of the individuals mentioned that the bridge has not been there for a while. Yes, the road is in bad condition. I travel that road. But the road is on the list of many other roads in San Benito County that are going to be requiring some type of repair. Road used to close also because would get flooded because of the river. So there's a lot of things that contribute to that road. And to the individual who is complaining about the parents driving their kids to school, then maybe they should be contacting the school. I mean, it's a route, it's a legal route. You can't stop the people from driving on any public roadway unless it's private. So I'm not exactly sure what that's leading to. Although I do appreciate the fact that he claims to have a relationship with the sheriff's department, that they're actually out there doing traffic enforcement. I didn't realize that that was the sheriff's responsibility, was traffic enforcement. Just want to keep in mind for the planning commissioners, when people come to speak, please state facts and prove the facts and not just grab something out of the air. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question for council. What are there any parameters for our questions and discussion? Can we go into subjects other than the EIR?
Now, the purpose of the meeting and under a special meeting rules, the discussion is confined to what's agendized for the special meeting, is to discuss what the scope of the EIR should be, what areas need to be investigated or have particular reports done, and to identify the impacts, potential ways to avoid or mitigate those impacts. Normally, the scoping meetings are designed for both the general public, but more importantly, for the resource agencies like the Department of Fish and Wildlife, the Regional Water Quality Control Board. Frequently these scoping meetings are attended or comments are submitted by those agencies. So, apparently we don't have any in attendance tonight. Frequently there are scoping meetings are held in 2 sessions, one during the workday for those agency staff to attend. So if you have questions, to answer your question, if you have questions concerning the scope of the EIR, what areas of impacts, and there's a laundry list and the CEQA checklist of potential impact areas that you have a particular concern about and want to make sure that the EIR includes those, an analysis of those areas, that would be appropriate for discussion at this meeting.
So outside of that, we're not permitted to ask other questions not regarding the EIR? But
well, I'm not, if you want to understand perhaps what the project is, I mean, that would be pertinent to the subject matter of this meeting.
Okay.
So. And I would suggest you're at liberty to ask any questions you want, and if we're too far afield, either staff or myself will let you know.
Okay. Commissioner Scagliotti.
That answered my question. That answered my
Oh,
question.
okay.
So I'll ask my question. If he tells him I'm out of line,
Okay.
I'll be quiet.
Fire away.
I want to know if this applicant has paid all back fees and fines that they've accrued over the years before I take this any further. I want to know if this applicant has paid all fees and fines since Sandman's was initiated down there. You need to dig that up and find out. If there's any open fees and fines, please.
In 2021, we did the IMP, and then as part of this process, we did look, there is an existing reimbursement agreement with the county. We did look at remaining funds and deposit requirements that is outlined within that reimbursement agreement, and currently everything is up to date.
So all fees and fines are paid?
Up to date.
From how far back?
It was 20, was it 2011 or 2012 the reimbursement agreement was put into place?
We can confirm.
Yeah, I can shoot off an email.
Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner Way? Is there
I have
anything?
no particular question at this time.
Okay. My concern was the transportation route, but that has been answered with that map, although I still have concerns about trucks going up West Side to 4th. I don't even know if they can turn. I certainly wouldn't want to take a gooseneck around that corner, let alone a truck, but
I have major concerns with those 2 routes. One is the high school. That is impossible at a certain time of day. There's no reason to go that way. West Side Boulevard is not designed for trucks, nor is the street around the back of the high school. So unfortunately for that fellow who lives on Riverside, that's the only way out of there, common sense, is Riverside to Union to 25 to Hillcrest to the plant. That's the only common sense way out of there. There is no other common sense way out of there. They have to put something forward to help us fix Riverside. That should be mitigated in this, because that road is atrocious. I like the idea with a radar sign. They get a ticket, they get a fine if they go over 25 miles an hour. That's a good speed down through there. I have no problem with that. And then also, I'd like to see a street sweeper twice a day. And then I'll consider it. But West Side, any of those other through town, forget it. That's what Union Road's designed for. It's designed for trucks.
And I just had a question about the assessment of the proposed mine area and area of historical vested right. Will that be ready by the time the draft EIR is released?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions, concerns?
Yes.
Commissioner Way.
Where on Hillcrest is this plant? I'm having trouble picturing it.
Across from Gore and Nutshelling,
Okay.
the
Okay.
old Grimsley, the rockery.
Ramsey Rockery plant.
Thanks.
So it's like a block down.
Uh-huh.
Any other?
No more comments from you?
Okay. Well, thank you for the presentation. Everybody received the information about where to send emails and letters to REL. Feel free to submit those. If there is nothing else, is
Mr.
there a
Chair?
motion?
Just wanted to thank the members of the public who came in and voiced their opinion, all of you as well. We all took really good notes. We have this recorded, and we want to make sure that we include this in the EIR process along with all of the different sections that we have. So thank you all for participating in this. Very important.
Thank you.
And I did want to highlight for the public that we actually have a webpage completely dedicated to this project, and every material that we do receive, we are posting onto the website link, so you can look up any material at any time, and please, contact myself to get any information you're looking for as well. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you all for attending. If there is a motion to adjourn,
I motion we adjourn.
is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0. We are adjourned. Thank you all.